everyone, I'm Sarah from Sourdough for Beginners. I'm going to give you a quick tutorial today on how to revive a very neglected starter. So let's just go through it. I'll talk to you about all of the little things that come up and most of the questions that we get all the time and just show you what I do. Now, this starter's been sitting in my fridge for, I would say, about 3 weeks now. So it's built up a layer of hooch on top. I'll come in close with the camera and show you that. It's very sort of not bubbly. It's very kind of dense, just sitting there. So it needs a really good feed. We have had a crazy month. We had a massive ice storm. We had a small car accident, but a car accident nonetheless. It's been crazy. So I haven't baked in forever. And now I'm going to get back to baking. I'm actually going to do some fairly large batches using my Revo mixer. So I'm going to switch out of this small starter container into a larger container so that I can give it quite a big feed. But I'm going to do that in 2 steps to make sure that this tastes great. So here is the starter. And if you look, you can see that there's this sort of layer of liquid on top. So you have some options. This liquid is called hooch and it's totally normal. It's the alcohol product that comes from the fermentation of the starter. So if you don't like a really sour taste, then you probably are going to want to pour this off. If you do like a really sour taste, then you could just stir this into your starter. Now I'm just going to pour it off and I'll show you sort of what its consistency is. It's kind of gray and, you know, oily, not the prettiest thing. So here's my starter. You can see it's still quite alive. There's still some good bubbles in it, right? But it's very flat. It's been quite a while since it's been used. So what I'm going to do is set my scale. Now, when I mix a starter, I always use a straight-sided container. Lots of people use mason jars, and honestly, you can use anything you want for your starter. Go with your preference. If you don't like plastic, that's fine. But if you're fine with plastic, the plastic isn't going to do anything to the starter. It's fine to use metal. Just do what works for you. So for me, I like these straight-sided containers because when I stir them, I can get all the way up and down the inside of the jar without worrying about that lip that you've got on your mason jar. So if you can find yourself a jar that has the straight sides, it might be easier for you. So step 1, decide what to do with your hooch if you've got some built up. Either stir it in or pour it off. If you stir it in, you'll get more flavor. If you pour it off, you'll get less flavor, more mild flavor. So now what I'm going to do is tar my scale. So I'm at 0 grams. And I'm going to measure, let's see how much we have in here. I'm hoping to start with about 100 grams of starter. So that I can feed off of that. And then whatever else is left, oh wow, I can't believe it. That actually went exactly 100 grams. So all this leftover stuff, I'm just going to discard it. So I might stick it in some cookies or something, or I might just toss it. So I've got 100 grams. Now here's my little trick, and I recommend you do this. If my starter's been sitting for a really long time, I give it what's called a flour heavy feed. So I mix it as thick as I possibly can. So what I'm going to do is put about, let's see how much we can get the starter to hold. So I'm just going to go back to 0 here, and I'm just using regular all-purpose flour. You can use any type of flour that you want. So I'm going to go for about 150 grams of flour, just like that. So that's 154, but I'm not too concerned about it. And then now I'm going to take my water, and remember I had 100 grams of starter and now I've got 154 grams of flour. And I'm going to start off by pouring about 100 grams of water in. If you're using measuring cups, just remember that you use half as much water as flour. Water weighs twice as much as flour. So I'm going to get to 100 grams here. I'm actually at 110, but that's okay. And now I'm going to try to stir this up. And if it's going to stir up nicely and be super thick but still blend, then I'm going to be okay. Right now it's kind of dry and thick. So I'm just going to keep adding teeny bits of water until it blends. So what does the flour heavy feed do? Well, when we're using a starter, when we're making a starter, what we're doing is we're causing the water and the flour to ferment. And that fermentation process has many steps, right? Well, eventually the starter eats all the way through the flour that you fed it and converts that flour to what ultimately becomes your starter. And it becomes ultimately alcohol. That's why we call this liquid that was on top of the starter hooch, right? It's just like fermenting barley to make beer or fermenting grapes to make wine. It's exactly the same process. It's the same science. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a science girl. I understand the basics, but don't quote me on my science. Now, if you've let your starter get very hungry and into that alcohol stage, then as soon as you feed it, it's going to eat like crazy. So I like to give these flour heavy feeds because I find that it slows down the process enough. It gives it enough sort of food to make it so that the starter will ferment slowly. And I find that that will control my taste and keep my starter nice and thick. And that's how I end up with those big, beautiful bubbles, right, that you want in your starter. So if you're looking at your starter and it has like very small bunny bubbles and it's kind of shiny, rainbowy, that probably means it's quite alcoholic. It's quite hungry still. And you can use it like that. Absolutely. You'll get lots of flavor in your bread. But if you prefer a more mild flavor and a more stable starter, then consider feeding it a flour heavy feed. What is the flour heavy feed? It's as thick as you can get it to mix. So depending on what your muscle strength is, but as you can see, this is not pouring. You know what I mean? It's almost like dough. It's a little bit, stickier than dough, but I've mixed it just as thick as I possibly can. So now I'm just going to do what I always do with my starter. I'm going to use an elastic and mark my height, scrape down my sides, get it all in there, get my height marked, and then I'm going to let this rise just like I always do. Now, sometimes if it rises really quickly and acts like a super hungry starter and gets those little bubbles, sometimes I'll discard and do one more flour heavy feed. And I'll be honest, most of the time I lean towards more flour than water. So it's just an interesting concept that you can adjust how much flour you're feeding your starter once it's established. While you're establishing your starter, it's important to stay in that, 1 to 1 to 1 or 1 to 2 to 2 or whatever it is that you're doing. It's important to try and stay consistent, mostly because if something starts to go wrong, then you're able to troubleshoot in a more easy way. But once you have a strong established starter like mine, her name's Mama, you can really start to play with her and look at stiff starters and everything else. So there you go. That's the quickest little tutorial I've ever done. If you've got any questions, put them down in the comments. I always answer them. And definitely please subscribe to the Sourdough for Beginners channel on YouTube. I've got over 200 videos there and they're all specifically geared to beginners who are just starting out trying to make sourdough. This will be in the playlist. When you get to the channel, right along the top, you'll see playlist. This will be in the playlist that's specifically for starters. So happy baking, everyone, and thanks for watching.